Apologies for the challenging situation Mila found herself in when she moved in with Sophia, Johnson's mother. Initially, Sophia's demeanor seemed to change for the worse. Unbeknownst to Sophia, her seemingly triumphant smile marked the beginning of a grave mistake that would have significant consequences on her life. Allow me to provide a more detailed account of Mila's life and the circumstances surrounding her unfortunate encounter with Sophia. Mila, a 31-year-old woman, passionately pursued her career as a seamstress at a renowned TV and film studio. Specializing in the intricate art of sewing, Mila dedicated herself to fixing costumes that spanned a diverse range, from extravagant period pieces to everyday clothes featured in contemporary shows. Mila's daily routine involved altering costume designs to match specific eras and ensuring a perfect fit for the actors. Beyond that, she diligently addressed any wear and tear resulting from the demanding filming schedules. Her expertise extended to creating garments from scratch, a skill she acquired from watching her mother engage in needlework during her formative years. Despite the irregular working hours and occasional unreasonable demands, Mila loved her job and aspired to make it a lifelong career. Fate led her to Johnson, a fellow worker at the studio who was responsible for taking care of the actors. The shared experiences of their daily lives naturally brought them closer, leading to a blossoming romance and eventual marriage after navigating busy schedules for 2 years. As Mila and Johnson embarked on their new life together, unforeseen challenges arose. Mila's joy was dampened by the sudden illness and passing of her mother, prompting the couple to postpone their planned wedding. Determined to have a proper celebration, they decided to save up for a wedding and honeymoon, choosing to live with Johnson's mother, Sophia, at the family home to cut costs. The circumstances seemed promising for harmonious coexistence, considering the shared grief of losing a parent. However, to Mila's dismay, Sophia exhibited a different attitude. Instead of fostering a supportive environment, Sophia treated Mila with hostility, viewing her as someone who had stolen her son. The harassment began with critiques about cleanliness and insinuations about Mila's upbringing. Enduring Sophia's constant scrutiny took a toll on Mila, both emotionally and physically. She found herself striving to meet unreasonable standards, even to the point of causing her hands to crack and bleed. The stringent expectations regarding household chores became increasingly unbearable, creating an atmosphere of tension and discomfort in what was supposed to be a shared living space. In the midst of enduring Sophia's relentless demands and harsh treatment, a pattern of torment emerged. Sophia, seemingly unfazed, would nonchalantly request Mila to redo tasks, intensifying the harassment as Mila grew more fatigued. Regardless of how flawlessly Mila completed her chores, Sophia would consistently find fault, creating an atmosphere where even the most meticulous efforts seemed insufficient. Mila, striving to balance her job and household responsibilities, opted to work from home. However, this decision only served to heighten Sophia's expectations, resulting in a continuous barrage of demands. The daily routine became akin to that of Cinderella, with Mila tirelessly tending to household tasks. Sophia's requests extended to various aspects of the home, from laundry to fixing torn curtains, exploiting Mila's sewing skills. The relationship between Mila and Sophia began resembling that of an owner and a maid, with Mila assuming the bulk of household responsibilities. Despite her pride, Mila found it challenging to confide in Johnson about the escalating situation. The physical strain of constant chores was compounded by the mental toll of Sophia's relentless harassment, particularly during the times when Johnson was not present. Adding to Mila's tribulations was the uninvited presence of Johnson's older sister, Sarah, who frequently visited for lunch. Sarah, described as stingy, exhibited an unsettling habit of consuming Mila's prepared meals without notice. The unpredictability of Sarah's visits disrupted Mila's routine, forcing her to interrupt chores and shop for additional groceries at a moment's notice. The breaking point arrived when Mila overheard Sophia and Sarah discussing her role in the household. Their derogatory comments, likening Mila to a free maid, pushed her to the edge. Fueled by a surge of emotions, Mila finally confided in Johnson, expressing her inability to endure the situation any longer. In response, Johnson, understanding the gravity of the situation, proposed moving out, signaling a potential escape from the oppressive environment. The prospect of leaving Sophia's house filled Mila with tears of relief. Unbeknownst to the couple, Sophia had overheard their conversation. Little did they realize that this plea for freedom would trigger a series of bizarre events that would shape the days ahead. Despite the challenges faced, Mila clung to a dream, the simple desire to wear a wedding dress. As the oppressive days gradually transformed, a glimmer of hope emerged, promising a brighter future beyond the confines of Sophia's household. Determined to make my own wedding dress, I embarked on a secret sewing mission in the confines of my room. Fueled by motivation after discussing it with Johnson, I ordered a substantial amount of fabric online, considering this newfound purpose as my driving force. Wanting to keep it under wraps from Sophia and Sarah, I diligently worked on crafting my dream dress. However, my clandestine project faced an unexpected hurdle when Sarah, known for her cost-cutting ways, discovered my endeavor. Sarah, who was due to get married in 2 months, saw my work and promptly asked me to make her wedding dress as well. Despite my initial hesitation, I agreed, swayed by the promise that she would cover the material costs. Juggling between housework, my primary job, and the additional task of making Sarah's dress, I found myself immersed in the intricate world of dressmaking. Even Sophia, Johnson's mother, seemed to notice my efforts as she occasionally peeked into my room. Despite the added pressure, I viewed the situation positively, considering it an opportunity for personal and professional growth. As Sarah's wedding drew near, and the dress neared completion, Sophia took an unexpected interest in my activities. She entered my room one day with an unusually friendly demeanor, offering to make coffee for me. This abrupt change raised suspicions, but I brushed them aside, focusing on my work. Little did I know that Sophia had more sinister intentions. Sophia returned with a tray filled with cups of coffee, as if preparing for a party. As she pretended to trip and spill coffee everywhere, I realized that the dress I had poured my heart into was now stained. Sophia's faint concern and my dress's unfortunate state left me in shock. Sophia's actions seemed deliberate, and I began to suspect that she was trying to sabotage our wedding plans, aiming to disrupt our intentions of moving out after the ceremony. Despite my growing anger, I had to prioritize salvaging the dress. Rushing to the bathroom, I frantically tried to rinse off the coffee stains, realizing that any delay could set the stain. Sophia, with a malicious grin, offered assistance, but I declined, opting to handle the situation on my own. In the midst of my frustration and panic, Sarah, Johnson's older sister, entered the scene. Seeing the state of my dress, she questioned Sophia's actions, accusing her of bullying me. Sophia quickly deflected blame, claiming the coffee spill was accidental. The tense situation unfolded, revealing the brewing conflict between family members, leaving me caught in the middle of Sophia's scheming and Sarah's protective stance. Amidst the chaos caused by Sophia's deliberate act of staining the dress, a surprising revelation unfolded. Sarah, in a state of disbelief, realized that the dress I had been diligently crafting was, in fact, meant for her, not for myself. Sophia, previously reveling in the chaos, suddenly found herself in a state of panic as she grappled with the realization that her actions were jeopardizing her own daughter's impending wedding, scheduled in just 2 weeks. As the heated exchange between Sarah and Sophia intensified, I continued to wash the dress I had poured months of effort into, quietly reflecting on the fact that I had never disclosed to anyone that I was creating a dress for Sarah. Sophia, assuming the dress was for me, seemed to harbor resentment towards what she perceived as her son being taken away. Johnson and I had plans to escape the stifling environment of Johnson's family home after the wedding, a prospect that Sophia fiercely opposed. In her eyes, I was a supposed thief cat, stealing her beloved son. Sophia, in an attempt to sabotage our plans, had resorted to such petty actions, revealing her distorted thoughts and bizarre behavior. Sarah, rightfully furious at Sophia for jeopardizing her wedding, unleashed her anger on her mother. The confrontation escalated, and just as tensions reached their peak, Johnson, who had silently observed the entire ordeal, stepped in. With a mix of disappointment and determination, Johnson condemned Sophia for deliberately staining the dress he had witnessed me working on tirelessly. Johnson's stern stance, unexpected by both Sophia and Sarah, marked a turning point. Expressing his disappointment in his mother, Johnson revealed that he and I planned to leave the family home after the wedding. He cited the continuous mistreatment I endured and stated that regardless of the current situation being about a dress, it might escalate to something more serious in the future. Johnson's unwavering support and firm decision to distance himself from his mother's toxic behavior left me deeply moved. In that moment, Johnson transformed from the seemingly submissive son into a protective partner who valued our well-being above all else. Sophia and Sarah were left stunned by Johnson's unexpected stance. Despite the emotional turmoil, the confrontation brought to light the dysfunctional dynamics within the family. Sarah eventually canceled her wedding due to the proximity of the date, losing money in the process. Sophia, who had initially paid for the dress, now faced regret over her impulsive actions. The consequences extended beyond our immediate household, impacting Sarah's relationships and living arrangements. After leaving the family home, Sophia sporadically contacted us, seeking financial assistance. Johnson, resolute in his decision for independence, rejected her requests. Sophia, faced with the reality of needing to support herself, eventually found employment as a janitor. The irony of her strict cleaning habits now fitting her job was not lost on those who knew her. Sarah, after her breakup and moving back in with Sophia, ceased working, relying on Sophia's part-time income and pension. The toll of the events manifested physically, as Sarah became unrecognizably overweight. Johnson and I, having moved into our own apartment, finally found solace in our new life, free from the toxicity of the dysfunctional family home. As our lives took a positive turn, Johnson and I set a date for our wedding. We opted for a small ceremony, excluding Sophia and Sarah to avoid potential disturbances. The decision was made to protect our newfound happiness. Despite the challenges, we embraced our blissful life, leaving the shadows of the past behind. To commemorate our special day, I began crafting a new dress. This time, the creation held the promise of beauty and happiness, far removed from the giraffe-patterned dress stained by the tumultuous events of the past. Our wedding day approached with a renewed sense of joy and anticipation, marking the beginning of a chapter filled with love and serenity.